welcome to my channel. This is Lisa's Faith and Budget Planning channel. I talk about my faith, I talk about budget planning, and one of my favorite ways of budgeting is through the Everydollar app. And I would love to share that with you and go through my closing for February and move into March. It's March 2020 already. I can't believe it. So, as you can see on the screen here, I have my February 2020 Everydollar budget, and I do hide my family's income and tithing offerings because they are personal, and it was requested by my husband, and I want to protect his privacy. So, but I will show our transactions and everything that goes on in our daily activities as far as where our budget is and how it's working this month. This month has been the best month so far, even though you can see by grocery and household, restaurants, and miscellaneous, we did go over budget, but it was to be expected. We've been doing this journey since last June, July of last year on Everydollar, and we are still fine-tuning and tweaking, even all these months later, how to use the Everydollar app and stay within a budget. We're not really that strict on it because we do have a little extra cash flow that we normally wouldn't have had before. Some months are higher, some months are lower, and it just depends on my husband's job. So we have fluctuating income. We get regular paychecks as far as when the paychecks come through, but it could be high and it could be low. If he's traveling on business, those next paychecks are kind of higher because he gets paid overtime. If he's not traveling on business, it's not as quite as high. So we adjust for that. What I do in order to not overspend in any area, I make sure that I only count his actual salary. Anything above and beyond that is extra. So we can put it towards debt, we can put it towards savings, we can put it towards a vacation, whatever it is our family's interested in doing and needs for that time period. So without further ado, I'll go through all my categories and show you where we are for the month and kind of talk about how do you close out your Everydollar and make it balance. As you can see, I have negative numbers here. Now, the only thing that changes for your Everydollar app, whether it's Everydollar budget or not, is your planned column here, all the way down. Your planned income and your planned expenses. That is how you do, that's just the budgeted amount. When you go over in your categories, like I went over in groceries and household, it doesn't change your budget because this is received, not budget. This is budget, this is actuals. So in order to change that, a few things have to happen. Now, these are my favorite categories because these are the ones that have transactions the most often. But I'm going to go through my underneath here and just scroll down and show you the actual numbers for the month. And then when I come across these again, then I will adjust and show you how Everydollar budget is going to be over budget and then how I adjust from it there. Excuse me. So what I do for me to make this make sense, I start out with my husband's salaries and income. He also gets a military retirement check and he also gets a VA disability check. So I take those, it's usually four paychecks in a month, no, 3 paychecks in a month. 2 of them happen on the same day. So I guess it is 4 checks. 4 different deposits happen 3 times a month. That's how it works because government checks usually come on the first of the month. So what's going to happen here when I have anything above my husband's salary, and I'll explain this number in just a minute, then I put it in what I call a sinking fund. And this is in my checking account, our joint checking account. This is, you can call it a sinking fund, you can call it a balance forward, you can call it a rollover, you can call it a buffer, whatever you want to call it. It's just cash sitting in your account. Whatever account it is, it doesn't matter if it's savings or checking. As long as you know where it's designated in the bank, then you can track it here in Everydollar. So this is what was left over from our checks this month. He did have overtime, which is why this is high. I also did not make a snowball payment towards my school loan um, for a specific reason. So this is kind of high. And then we had $500 and some dollars left over from the previous month that rolled over. And that's why I use it in my rollover sinking funds. Why I use it as a fund, because whatever I have at the end of February, no matter if it's $1 or $500, the remaining will roll over to March, which is what I'm going to do. A lot of this money is going to roll over to March. The reason it's high and the reason we haven't put in debt or savings is because we had an unexpected expense, and I'm moving all our money around to make a large payment towards this unexpected expense. And I'll show that at the bottom later. So we did put money away from a Christmas fund, car maintenance, and Amazon Prime. We do once a year. Disney Plus annual, vacation, and then I just stopped because that's when we realized, oh, we're going to have to pay for something. So all these deposits, all this right here, what was rolled over from previous months and the current deposit in our balance forward in our checking account, these are all in a separate savings. All of them are going to this new expense that kind of came up out of nowhere. Then we have our emergency fund and 3 to 6 months expenses. I think that's interest. These two are linked together in the same account. I just separate them on these lines, but it's the same savings account. And apparently with a credit union, you get some interest, so that's the interest that's kind of built on it. And then in the same account, I also keep my husband's travel expenses in there, so he can use them when he does go travel, and he can pay for things without having to use our cash or our credit to do it. So these are things that we paid for already. As you can see, we paid exactly what it was. Visa prepaid Go card. So my husband has been in school. He's been using the post 9/11 GI Bill or whatever to pay for his schooling. And sometimes when there's money left over after the school's been paid, because these are grants, they give him the rest of the deposit in our account. So he had over $600. I got some of it. He just transferred $600, and he has a prepaid Go card. That's what that's about. So he transferred that money. There was travel expense. He did travel, and he took out $250 out of this savings account, and he went ahead and used that for his travel expense. I got permission to use the rest of the travel expense, which was $350, and wrote a check for something personal that needed to be taken care of, and I'm so glad I did. I'm so excited and happy about that. So, but that's something that's personal. That's why it's not really labeled in detail, but I know what it is. Peninsula Community Chapel, there's a marriage retreat going on. They're sponsoring it where I live, and this was the fee for the retreat to show up for the conference part, where you hear people talk and stuff like that. And then there was a Bible study at church. The book and the study was $15. So I showed up at church. We started yesterday. I'm excited. It's the book of Jude. And we only got through verse 1 and 2, and I'm blown away already. So a lot of information, very packful, impacting study. I'm excited for it. I'm trying to think of the author. Jackie Hill Perry. That's who's doing the study. And it's a short video series along with a book, and I am so excited. In fact, when I'm done with this, I'm diving in the book and doing the homework, so ready to go on that one. There's our mortgage, homeowners insurance, property tax. Now, I do this funny thing, so I don't have to keep track of papers everywhere and keep pulling up my gas bill and electric bill and all that stuff. This is March 5th, $134. This is next month. This is March's actual numbers. This is what February's actual number is. I just changed the title and add that so when it rolls over, I don't have to look up how much I have to pay for gas and electric online or in my bills. I just, so if you highlight one of these and pull it up, it will, it has a note section, but I never read those. I never go back to look at them. But if it's in the title, it's right there in front of me, like blaring, something's different, take a look at this. And then I just take it out when I do my budget for next month. And you'll see that then I'm going to try, if it doesn't work, I'll have to do it in a separate video. But I am going to try to do my March setup here while I'm videoing. So home security went through, city utilities. Now this is one, city utilities, I have to pay it every other month. So January I had a bill, February I don't have a bill, March I get a bill. But I'm an every month person. I could track it easier if it's every month. If it's not every month, I'm going to forget about it. So what I tend to do is I take the average of what my city utility is for 2 months. So what January, February on average would be. I split it in half. And so we average about $200, which is our water, sewer, and trash, recycle, and yard waste pickup. All 5 of those things fall under this, and the city takes care of all those things. And we just pay a bill or a fee for whatever it is. And so we average about $200 every 2 months. So that's about $100 a month. On months I don't have a bill, I just send them $100 and they credit it to the account. And then so February I just send $100. When March rolls around and they're ready to tally up the water and everything and create the bill, that credit's already there. And my bill may be just above $100 or just below $100. It's fine. It's already there. I don't have to scrimp and scrape for, an amount I wasn't expecting or I forgot about or anything like that. So that's what I do with city utilities. That's my cell phone. We paid our last lease payment on my husband's phone, and we're never leasing again for these phones. It's ridiculous. I do hope, and down the road, I can pay off we have 2 of our 4 cell phones paid off. His is getting ready to pay off, so that makes 3, and then we have 1 left, and I think if we're lucky enough, we might be able to make a payment with that cell phone paid off hopefully later this year, because it still has 10 months or something on it. It's a newer phone. So anyways, that's going to go down hopefully quite a bit. Gasoline. So there's a specific $25. As you see, I already adjusted this one. I know we're not going to get any more gas before the 1st of March. So my husband got gas the other day. It was even $25. Not sure how he does that. I never can get it even, but apparently he did. So we've already spent this amount. I haven't got a transaction popping up here from my bank, but I do have a pending deposit. And my bank, I don't know about your bank, but in my bank, let me see if I can pull it up on my phone here. And this is just a screenshot from my phone. And I don't think you can see it from here. So anyways, these are yellow. Those are pending transactions that are to be completely withdrawn by the bank and posted in the other bank that receives the transaction at some point. Now, it doesn't always happen right away. It can take 2 days. It can take 5 days. I don't know. I've had them take longer sometimes. It depends on what you're purchasing and where you're purchasing from. So what I do is I leave that remaining balance. I know that's going to happen, even though it's going to fall into March. And when the transaction comes through, I look at my paper, and I have my paper budget for February. Here's my February. I have this, and I go into my gas, and I can see under gasoline what transaction goes where. And I know exactly when it came through. So when it pops up, I can flip through this and go, okay, I'm going to, even though it's March and it's just clearing and showing up in my Everydollar, I'm going to back into February and I'm going to slide that transaction in, even though it posted in March. And that'll make this a 0 and reconcile this budget. So here's our first over budgeting. So I am going to, how am I going to do this? I'm going to stop it right here for a second because I got to do something real quick. And then okay, I've got things figured out. Screen on screen recording is new to me, so I wanted to make sure things didn't get messed up while I was working in it. That's why I took a second to stop and start again. So anyways, I wanted to get back to my groceries and household. You see I'm over budget here. If I click on this and see if it'll pop up, yeah, there's our transactions down here. So those are all my transactions. But what I really need to fix is this. So what I'm going to do is delete all these and type in the actual to make that 0. There you go, $855.45. And just click on the outside. Now I'm $155 over budget because I changed the planned budgeted amount. And that's why this number changes. Doesn't matter about these. They can be in the red. That's just to let you know you're over budget in that category. But if you want it to be an Everydollar budget, you have to change the plan. So let's do the restaurants. So 90, 99. See if I did that right. Yep, there we go. And then down here for miscellaneous. Oops, that's not what I want to do. I want to click in this area. Okay. 43, 46. So what I've learned after doing this since June, July of last year, I need to increase those budgets. Now they have dropped since June, July of last year. I didn't realize how much I was spending and it was a little bit crazy. What I've decided is, okay, these amounts are what our family normally functions on. These are what we run into every month, and this is as low as I can get them. What I plan to do for next month for restaurants, we're bumping that to, I think, 500 or 550. Some months that will be low when my husband's gone. We're not going to go out to eat as much. Groceries and households will always drop when he's gone because it fluctuates. I don't need to buy as many things or as many supplies, toiletries and shampoos and body washes and toothpaste and toothbrushes and stuff like that. Whatever he needs. He likes his Coke, his sodas, cola. Have to buy them all the time. So things like that. Gasoline, I'm going to leave this here. This is not a negative. This is a planned amount. And I'm not going to go over budget because I know it's coming. I've seen it in my pending transactions. So that's fine. I'm going to leave that there. When it comes through, I'll just come to February and remember that it's a February and then slide it over and I'll be good to go. Everything else has pretty much come through. This will come through over the weekend. Same thing. It's a planned amount. It's not an over budget. That's why it's not red. And I will be paying that when it comes through, or moving the transaction there when it comes through for February. Always have a few of these at the end of the month. It can get confusing, so when I sit down to do it, I really have to focus and pay attention. I have to make sure I'm looking at the right thing. And that works. All these got closed out. They're all zeros. So this is how debt works. I have my debt. My school loan, I did make a $100 payment, and I did not plan anything for my visa, even though I just got this charge It actually came through today. So I did make a $100 school loan payment, and the reason I did that is I wanted to pay something. I've been paying $13.50 a month since October, and then January I paid over double that because I had to decide to throw all our savings in there and get it down even lower from 11,000 to under 8,000. And it's right at 8,000 right now. Actually, it's just below the 8,000. I need to change that amount. So, and to change this amount, it doesn't track your interest charges and removals. You just go in and you just change this number. That's all you have to do is change the number. But I'm not going to do that until I get ready for March. So that's not going to be a problem. The Visa, this is the actual amount for the Visa. Starting balance, I have no minimum payment because I'm going to pay most of it or almost all of it or even all of it if I can all at once. And I'm going to do it in March. And the reason I'm doing it is March is I want to see where the budget is in March. I want to see how much I can squeeze into paying that completely off. $80 of it was a personal purchase. I have to confess. Yes, I made a purchase. Love my Erin Condren. I'm getting seasonal surprise box, so I'll be doing an unboxing of that. Since I purchased that, it's going to be hard not to watch the videos once all the insiders that got the box already. But they have rave reviews, so I'm excited about that. And I got a few other items from Erin Condren. I'm excited. And my husband just laughs at me. He just thinks it's funny because he's just excited that I'm excited. So next month I'll be addressing this $8,000 charge. This $8,500 charge, in addition to the $80 charge I put. Yeah, $80 charge I put on. Was for Orkin. We had a rat problem in our attic spaces. They never came in the house. We never saw any evidence of them in the house, but it was very upsetting enough to know that they were in the attic. And we had all the insulation removed. I have asthma and allergies, and I didn't want any of that in there, and it just grossed me out. My husband is an environmental science major. He knows a lot about diseases from rodents and stuff like that, and it disturbed him enough to go, no, I want to remove it all and put it in. And the cool thing is my house is like 23 years old, and after they removed all the insulation and cleaned it out and sprayed, and then to deter all the rats from coming back, and then they went on the outside and capped every space that they could to make sure there was no rats getting in. My house, I had to adjust the temperature to my house. And instead of having my temperature say at 67 at night to feel comfortable, I had to drop it to 66 because it was staying warmer longer. So it wasn't a bad thing. In the long run, we might get some of that money back from our heating bills. So, yeah, it was interesting. Process, they did a great job insulating. I know the small attic behind our master bedroom, we have a walk-in small attic space. And then we have one obviously above the house where the heating and air conditioning unit, or heating unit, and then the air conditioning is outside, and all the, all the stuff that goes up in the attic, and you can see for ventilation and stuff. So, yeah, that was $8,500. That was a lot of money. That was our surprise, did not see coming thing. So how am I paying this off? I'm paying it off with that $3,000. Let me go back to the top here. I'm paying it off with this, where am I at? There I am. With this remaining number. Except for I gotta adjust this. I gotta fix this because I am over budget in my budget. Well, the way you fix that is because I put any extra money to roll over next month here in a sinking fund, this is how I fix it. I just take this number out. And then now it tells me what I have left to budget. So now I have $3,338.09. That's what I've left the budget. Now I'm an Everydollar budget. Everything is good. And that's just, this is the amount. The $3,500 is going to roll over next month. And I did make notes in this. I do an end of the month kind of month in review is what I call it in my planner here. And it looks like this. This is my month in review, and I just took a bunch of notes. And I put a review of my grocery, household, and restaurants, miscellaneous, gasoline. I took what was January's results, and I'm going to put February's results. This is something new I just started. And once February is completely closed out, there are transactions that are going to happen today. And, well, today's Thursday, the 27th. Yeah, the 27th, 28th, and 29th, which is Saturday. There are transactions that are going to happen. I count those in February. I just track them in my planner, and then I make sure when I do Everydollar, it goes back in February. Even though they are pending, they'll release in March, and I can slide them over. I still put them in my February. I cannot not put them in my February. I know when they happen. I know what day they happened on. Those need to go in that budget, and it gives me a more accurate budget. Now, some people, they don't do that. If they're like my bank, actually, the closing statement ends on the 26th of the month. So if I wanted to go bank statement to bank statement, I'd have to go from the 26th, end on the 26th, and the 27th through the end of the 26th. That's the transactions in the bank statement. So, but my brain doesn't work that way, and I don't go based on bank statements. I just check my app and see what's cleared and what hasn't cleared. So, that's a thing. That's what I do. But the month in review, I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to take the previous month's numbers and see where I'm at, if I'm up or down, and just kind of see what's trending, how it looks, why it's happening, and keep that in mind. I made a note. I'm going to budget higher in March for all my categories. Groceries and household is going to go from $700 to $850. Restaurants are going to go from $400 to $550. Miscellaneous is going to go from $400 to $450. And gasoline, I fluctuate between $250 and $225, $250. So we'll see. But my daily expenses for an entire month that are most active transactions outside my bills, my daily expenses are about $2,100. And yes, it's a lot of money. And yes, we're a family of four. We're pretty much all adults. Activities and stuff, things that are needed. Shoes aren't cheap. $60, $70 a pop for a decent pair of quality shoes. Yeah. Clothes aren't cheap. Things for the house aren't cheap. I mean, it's tough to live in this kind of economy sometimes. So we just pray for God's provision and protection, and just roll with it every month. So we just trust in Him that He will provide in this. Just like He's providing the $8,000 and has provided it in a way where I can consolidate all these savings that I've been doing for different things to make one big payment. And yes, I don't have any savings after that point. What I did do, and I prayed a lot on this, God's not against credit. He's against credit irresponsibility. We have a credit card. It does have a high limit. It's a $24,000, and I don't know how. When we were, I think we were not even a first class. We were a second class petty officer in the Navy with 10 years in, and they gave us $10,000 limit. And then he makes first, and they gave him a $24,000 limit on this one credit card, and we were very irresponsible. We'd max it out, and then all I could do is get it paid down $1,000 a year, and then we maxed it out again. We did that for over 10 years. I mean, it's absurd. Until I started doing this program, we paid it off last year. And all these things that we've done, we just made sure that we were being good stewards of our credit and our money. Because I don't have my 6-month savings, I can't seem to let go of the credit card. Once I have that 6 months, which is going to be over 36, I think $36,000 is my goal, I'm trying to say, or just over that. Once I have that going, then I'll probably definitely get rid of that credit card and just rebuild from there every time I have to use it. So for an expense like this, but I'm not going to have interest as much as possible. That's why I want to pay it all off. I still have that, but it's only for extreme emergencies, and that's it. And it pays and pay it off, not to carry. If I don't have the cash to pay it off, because the only reason we put it on the credit card is I didn't want to move all our money in one spot and then have them make the charge. It was just easier to give them the card, do the charge on the card, and then pay the card. They just charged it today, and later today or this weekend, I will go ahead and make those payments onto the card from the different accounts. And I'm happy with that. My husband's happy with that. God gave me peace about it, so we're good with that. But yeah, once that's taken care of, we probably won't keep the card after we get our savings built up. But yeah, I have a plan at the bottom. I wrote on my month in review on where the money's coming from what account, and how it's going to consolidate, and we're going to pay it off all at once. And I'm really excited about that. I feel really, really good about that. So anyway, I guess that's all I have to say today. But yeah, we're using this money here, these funds right here. I'm going to consolidate all those, and the emergency fund, any savings that you see in here, that's going to pay for it. And then, and we're just going to go from there and get it all paid for and move on. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope I was clear. If I wasn't clear, leave a comment in the question in the comments below. And if you have any other conversation that you want to talk about, or questions about Everydollar on how I use it and why I use it, let me know. I would love to answer any questions that you might have. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of my videos, subscribe. And I hope everyone has an amazing and blessed day. Bye.